Mr. Speaker.
Mr.
Speaker, the Minister made clear in his statement that much data had been received from 2017 to 2018, which appears to be the data that is being used for the purposes of creating this new bill that will come before the House. Does the Minister believe that that data has changed significantly and it's appropriate to rely on data that is now 8 years old when presenting a bill?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I would reply that absolutely that data is useful data, because what the honourable member from the other side may not realize is that many of the issues that we've had regarding not being able to get transportation, especially with locals, goes back far longer than 8 years, Mr. Speaker. And finally, many people, I'm sure the individuals that he may represent, are very excited that they are going to be able to get transportation. I know the individuals which I represent cannot get from areas like Glebe Road into Hamilton to work, Mr. Speaker. And that has been a problem that has been going long past 8 years. So absolutely, data that we have from 8 years and more recent will be very helpful and has been very helpful for us designing this rideshare plan. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Minister has said that that data is very helpful, but he has also said that in terms of obtaining transportation with this new rideshare program, that it will enhance the ability for people to get transportation.
Question.
How will the Minister ensure that these rideshare this rideshare availability will in fact make sure that underserviced areas are serviced? If we can't get the taxis to do it, how is the Minister going to make sure that these other vehicles do serve those underserviced areas?
Minister.
And going back, and I'll tie a little bit of where I answered last time to this one as well. You know, what we are counting on with this rideshare is that it will increase the supply. And when it increases the supply, Mr. Speaker, the supply will go where the demand is. Currently, if you go to certain areas on Front Street, there's not much demand. There's plenty supply there, and everyone is taken care of. But if you go in the proverbial back of town areas, Mr. Speaker, there is not much supply there. So the data that we have shown and speaking to stakeholders, getting out into community, you will realize that there may be some illegal operations that are servicing that part of the public now. And what we're trying to do is regulate that so that we have effective ways to transport our people, especially the ones that I serve, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, it's one thing to say supply and demand, but
Is
how?
supplementary
This
or-
is supplementary,
okay.
Mr. Speaker,
Yeah.
in relation to the answer that was given.
Yeah.
How, again, will it be ensured that those underserviced areas are serviced? It's one. You can't just say it's supply and demand. That's the issue we have right now. So how will it happen in practice?
Minister.
It will simply happen by the individual who signs up to be a rideshare provider will go where the work is. That's how it will happen. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Second question, or you had your two supplementaries on the first one. Second question.
Thank you. Second question. Has the Minister considered putting proper enforcement of the current regulations for taxis, that taxis should be on the road for 16 hours a day? That would help surely and make sure that there's proper supply for the demand. Has the Minister considered doing that prior to introducing the rideshare program?
Minister.
Absolutely, Mr. Speaker. I've been in this position for about a year. And in that year, we have made significant efforts to enforce many of the laws that are on the books in the Motor Car Act. One example that I would give you is that on October 1st, Mr. Speaker, I asked for a checks to be done as to how many vehicles were not registered on the road after the deadline of September 30th. And it was significantly over 100. So we have enforced, the traffic officers has gone out, they have called individuals, they've brought them in and asked them the reasons why. Some were parts, some were financial reasons, and that number to where we are now has been significantly reduced. So we are increasing our enforcement efforts. There is renewed efforts with the public service vehicle licensing, and you will hear and you will see that there will be individuals that will be brought in before the Public Service Vehicle Licensing Board if it is found that they are not operating their taxi or their public service vehicle standards to the level that is expected in legislation. And that includes the hours of which the honourable member on the other side is speaking of.
Thank you. Supplementary to that question or third question?
Supplementary.
Supplementary.
Thank you. So what I have heard then, and I think the rest of this House has heard, that the 16-hour rule will be enforced. And if that is the case, and there's some 400 taxis that will all be operating at 16 hours a day in accordance with the legislation that is to be enforced, pursuant to what the Minister just said, then surely the rideshare program will not necessarily be required because there'll be enough supply to meet the very demand that the Minister is making reference to. Isn't that correct?
Your question is it correct?
My question is, if the Minister is going to ensure that there is enforcement of the 16-hour rule, then would he not accept there'll be enough supply to meet the demand?
All right. Minister?
Well, Mr. Speaker, the honourable member would also know that there are 24 hours in a day, and if he looked at the rideshare legislation, it will cover those times that most of the taxis are not working after their 16 hours. So that's just a simple math problem, Mr. Speaker. So I'll answer the first question that way. And as I answered in my previous question, Mr. Speaker, we are increasing the enforcement. And once the enforcement gets to the levels where it can be, and that includes additional staffing, that includes additional education and the like, Mr. Speaker, if we do get to that point where we are trying to get to, then, Mr. Speaker, we would have gotten to a successful place with transportation in this country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary, a new question.
Supplementary.
Okay, your second sub, go ahead.
So I'm now not really understanding what is trying to be achieved. It would certainly, I would submit, make sense, and I hope the Minister will agree, that you try every option available in your current legislative package before you add yet another layer of bureaucracy, etc., and potential enforcements against the rideshare participants first. Would the Minister not accept that it would be sensible to do the enforcement pursuant to current legislation before introducing the rideshare program, so we can then see if there is enough supply to meet demand?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I know that majority, and not everyone, I will say everyone in this House was elected to serve. And Mr. Speaker, in serving, and I read out many stats, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to tourists coming to this island and not being able to get transportation. I've spoken of individuals in areas that I serve that can't even get to work in the morning, Mr. Speaker, and make an honest living. So, Mr. Speaker, what I would like to say is if the honourable member and his team would like to wait another 40 years to fix transportation in this country, that is not service, Mr. Speaker, and that is not leadership, in my opinion. So, Mr. Speaker, while I have acknowledged that there may be some gaps in enforcement, and I also have acknowledged, Mr. Speaker, that we are taking specific steps to increase that enforcement, what I also heard from the other side, Mr. Speaker, is that the honourable member is willing to allow the transportation industry to stay where it is without trying to take necessary steps to fix it. That's what I heard.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order.
The member is misleading the House. Not in any way did I say. The honourable member, accept that. In any way made any inference to that whatsoever. I've simply asked questions, Mr. Speaker, in respect of time and supply and demand based on the Minister's own statements in this House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My answer to the question remains. This government will continue to listen to the people. This government will continue to increase service possibilities and options so that people, whether it be working class individuals or visitors that are coming to experience our beautiful island, can move around this island effectively and timely. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any further questions?
I think it's the third question now,
Third question.
Mr. Speaker.